Hello everybody, I am Fuzzy Face and welcome to what is part 3 this time. We are going on to our second race here in the 4th season. If you've watched the previous episodes, if you've watched the 2 episodes from season 4, then you will know that we've made some giant leaps forward this season. We are currently the 6th best overall car. We did some amazing work on the gearbox last year, which has given us a base part which is far and above the best part in the competition at the moment. Whether that would get overtaken at some point during the season, I don't know, but we're making some quite giant leaps forward with the other parts. We're not actually that far behind the average with the rear wing and the suspension. We're not that quite far behind, and they're the parts that we're working on this season. As you can see, we've got a simulator in development which gives us access to the great components for the rear wing, which should allow us to unlock. I think there's some parts in there that could be up to plus 70, so we're going to be about rated 520 overall, which puts us in the range of the 556 that we managed to get to the gearbox. So hopefully that is somewhere near the top, somewhere near the best part for that. We also got in the last episode the handling development center built, which gives us access to, yeah, it says epic gear because that's if we go ahead and build that upgrade, we have access to the epic parts. But we've got access to the great parts at the moment, which again should get us somewhere near the gearbox. If we go ahead and look at the gearbox at the moment, we do have a 556 in Santa Ana's car. Obviously it needs a bit of work reliability wise, but she does have the nurse stat, which is essential at this part of the season, so she can get around without any problems, even though she has a car that is pretty unreliable. But as we can see, Maya Latinen's part is quite a long way behind, so I don't know whether I want to build a new gearbox first of all here. Possibly go ahead and do this, because we will get a part here that's rated 607, so we'll probably make another giant leap forward, and then we have both cars that have got gearboxes that are better than everyone else, because the one that Latinen's got at the moment isn't the best. It might be around somewhere like 4th or 5th, something like that. So maybe we could go ahead and do that, or should we go ahead and concentrate on the suspension here, because we can do this at the moment. What can we get out of this car at the moment? We can put 3 parts in this, which we would have to put one of these in, so it would probably be this one, which would need some work on the reliability, but obviously we can then put that into Santa Ana's car once we get it past about 45%, because then she would be able to make that last. That would give us 403 and be upgraded to 479. What is the current suspension part that we've got? And that's quite a massive leap forward there. We can get that one to 539. Obviously with that one we can make a giant leap forward, and then obviously we can add a plus 70. So the one after this one, we're going to go with this one. Don't think we can do that. We can't put both of those in, can we? Or maybe we could at that point, but then we can't. In this one we need a good part, so then in this one we can put either another great part or an epic part, which we could do, but we can't put any epic parts in because we don't have the handling development center at level 2, although we can use an epic part because this lead designer does have an epic extra slot which we can actually use without a development center or anything like that, which would allow us to put this plus 70 part in the car, and then put this epic -1 risk level, which would get rid of the risk for this, and then after that that would unlock the 5th slot. So towards the end of the season then we could build a part that has all manner of risky parts in it with full 5 slots filled out, and have a base part for next season that is really up there in competitiveness. And the same again for the rear wing, which is what we're going to do. So we're probably going to go ahead now. We've got quite a lot of money, so we're probably going to go and put, do we need it to be any better than this at the moment? I don't think we do, because it's going to be some time before we can go ahead and actually work on upgrading it. So maybe we can just do that and then it's ready to go in a car straight away, rather than, because at that it wouldn't take much for us to get that in Latinen's car. No, we're going to go ahead and do that one, and then we'll try and upgrade the gearbox in the other car, because what we need is the one that's in Santa Ana's car, don't we? We need to work on this gearbox so it's ready for Latinen. So once it's built, it is then ready for Latinen then. So we'll try work on getting these done. It's going to take quite a while to get all these done, but that is not going to be too far behind. We've got possibly about 24 days. No, that says 21 days, doesn't it? So 21 days. So a lot of these are going to be there or thereabouts. We can obviously take these ones out pretty soon, and then concentrate on these two, and we should be about there and have this gearbox ready to go in Latin's car, whereas we can put the new one straight into Santa Ana's car. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty much all the updates we've got to do. We've got the new cars being built, we've got parts being improved. Maybe we can put a few more of these actually over. Maybe we can go ahead and put this in, since we're not actually doing much on them, but we will improve them a few points. So we'll go ahead and do that, and we'll go ahead and get to the race. We're going to go for 6 or above. This one's neither here or there. We might not get 6 in this race. Second or above, we're possibly not going to get again, but then again we do get the same amount for this one anyway, so it's not worth going for that. Santa Ana is absolutely happy with the car. Latina is still unhappy, but that's because her gearbox is so far behind. Hopefully when she gets a new gearbox she's not going to be as unhappy, but then again, once she gets that new gearbox, Santa Ana is going to be making another leap forward and having a part that's probably rated about 50 or more higher than her. But we're going to go ahead and get to practice now and set up the car. So it said we would be expecting heavy rain at some point during practice, in which we are. Possibly just a little bit in there. It's going to get pretty heavy, so it's going to probably be needing wet tyres at some point. But I do have my setup from last year. We're not going to put Yuri in at the... Not going to put Yuri in the seat at the moment, because he had an email saying that he's a successful musician at the moment, which has taken quite a bit away from his actual stats. He is a 2-star rated driver, but because he's had those taken away for, I think he's got about 18 weeks left on it, he's now a 1-star rated driver. So I'm not going to put him in the seat just yet. I'll wait for him to finish messing about with his music before we put him in the seat. But this is the setup we used last year. Whether they're as happy with it this year or not, I'm not too sure upon, because we've made some quite giant leaps forward with the performance of the car. But we got a 99% with this last time, so that's just what we're going to put in both cars to start on. We're going to have to come out on the intermediates, are we? Could we get a... No, it's going to be wet for the race, so we could do getting as much knowledge as we can on the intermediates, because it is going to be a wet race. I think it did say it was going to be a wet race, so hopefully it's going to be... Might be dry and wet, because that seems to work in our favour, because the AI doesn't seem to understand too much about getting to the end of the race on fuel if they have to pit early and change tyres early. But we're just going to see whether this setup is as good as it was last year, and we'll come back for qualifying. Right, so we didn't do too bad with practice session. It was a very wet session. We managed to get a few dry laps in towards the end. Probably a fair bit off, but we did get held up on both laps there, so it's nothing too major. We did quite well. It looks like it's going to be raining for qualifying as well. It didn't say it was actually going to be raining. I wonder when it's actually going to get dry here. Is it going to continue raining? It drops off for a bit, doesn't it? So maybe we're going to have to try and rush both cars out again, or at least get one of them out as quickly as we can. It looks like the first lap's going to be just on the borderline for intermediates, isn't it? So maybe we're going to have to do the lap on intermediates. So we'll try one of the cars early. We got qualifying trim enough at 10%. We didn't get any performance on the tyres because we used a pair of intermediates, a pair of wets and a pair of softs as the track was going. We got the setup pretty good. We had pretty decent with the base to start when we were 97. It took us a little while to get back up to 97% with Santa Ana. Obviously, yeah, it's suggesting intermediate here because it's going to get dry, but not dry enough for the actual flying lap. Couldn't get quite as close with Latin, and she wasn't as happy with that setup as we had. Managed to get her to a 94% on the third run, so hopefully that's pretty decent there. We're going to leave her on the intermediates, but we're going to go from there, and I'm going to come back when we've got a flying lap on the go. And let's see how we do in this. Hopefully we can get 6 or above. I don't think we can do, but hopefully we can look ahead at some point and try and work out when it's going to try and get a bit drier. Got heavy rain, which switches to lightish rain. So hopefully there's going to be a point in this race where we're going to be able to maybe work it out to get a dry lap. Fingers crossed, and try and get a jump on a few of the other cars. But we'll just see how we do with that, and we'll come back when we're about to do a flying lap. Right, so Santa Ana's just started her fastest lap, her flying lap should I say, at the moment. We've got Latin just coming round now, so we're going to try and get her some clear air. Well, let's try to do the best with the brakes and tyres as we can, but I'd rather have the clear air rather than that sort of boost. So we'll just try and keep her in front of this car here at the moment, which I think is on a flying lap themselves, so hopefully we can stay in front of that car Not perfect and overheated there just a little bit, but Santa Ana's actually gone fastest in the first sector there, so we'll go ahead and look at her, but she's slowed down quite a bit in the second. I think it's this car that she's behind at the moment, slowing her down a little bit, but she actually goes second there for 129, not too bad. Possibly not the best lap that we're going to probably get from this. Well, probably the best lap we'll get, but I don't think it's going to keep us in second. And Lattinen looks to be getting slowed down quite a lot here by this car in front of her. 6 seconds off the pace there, so should we think about pulling her back in? It's pretty much a wasted lap, that. So probably, yeah, I think we're going to just bring her back in. I think we're going to abandon that lap. Such a totally... So what should we do? The track is going to dry out pretty soon. Is that going to be dry enough? Looks like we're going to get some track grip a bit later on, or should we try to get Santa Ana straight out, Lattinen straight out here? Would we have some clear air as these come back into the pits, although they're all going to possibly set off again pretty soonish, aren't they? So what should we do? Should we just hang on a second with her? Yeah, we'll hang on a second. We'll try to give Lattinen the best lap. We'll try to send her out as far on as we can, so she's got a better chance at getting some grip, because we've got a pretty decent lap from Santa Ana there. Although a lot of these cars are going to start going on a lot quicker now as we get to come out on some dry tyres. So we're possibly going to count for a few cars coming out again. Possibly going to wait for a couple of these to come out, although we can't wait too long because time is running down here. So we're going to count, we'll try and get a few of these out, and then we'll go with Santa Ana. So I think it's about time that we go out now. Got a pair of super softs on this time. So let's try and get her some clear air. We're going to have to send Lattinen out, but we'll send her out slowly going around the track, just so she's partway around the track when we can concentrate on her. Look at that, we've got a massive gang of cars there, so we'll let all those fly past, and this one as well. So Lattinen's catching up here pretty quick because we forgot to turn her down there, didn't we? So we need to speed Santa Ana up a bit now so she didn't end up slowing Lattinen down. And we push that from there. She's going to get on the back of these cars in front, isn't she? And Lattinen's got a car coming up behind her, so should we speed them both up from here? Just see how we go. Maybe slow. Get some of these back down first. Santa Ana. Where can we get? I don't think either of our cars are going to slow each other down. We've managed to stay in front of that other car, so we've got something pretty decent. Perfect and cold, so we didn't do too bad there. It does look like we might have a little bit of clear air to work with here. Actually, possibly quite a lot of clear air. Hopefully we're not going to catch this big bunch of cars. I think everyone else is doing a flying lap, so hopefully that's not going to be too bad there. Santa Ana is still currently in third, and we are actually going quickest here. Could we actually have a pole? Could we? Could that be possible? Santa Ana actually goes first there. Second, pushed into second place by Lattinen, so we got first and second on the grid there. Absolutely well timed. There's a couple of cars out on the track. 10th. Don't know what car they're in. And who else is out on track? Number 4, Costa. Costa in one of the Boa cars, I think. Is he still with a Boa? No, he's not, is he? Yeah, I think that's one of the Boas. So we're still first and second here, so we're just waiting for these cars to come round. Doesn't look... They're both pointing into the pits anyway, so we've all actually finished our laps, so we've actually got first and second on the grid there. That's our first ever time. I think that's our first ever pole position. And to finish our pole position, we've actually first and second on the grid. Absolutely amazing, so that should hopefully work into our strategy now, being further forward on the grid. Maybe we can hold some cars up and go for our long strategy. How much actually quicker were we there? Actually, look at that, we were a second and a half quicker than third place there, and the chariots are pretty low down here. Or at least one of them is. Where's the other chariot? 7th and 9th there, so hopefully we can go ahead and get a decent result from this race. Absolutely brilliantly worked there. So we've got the bonus, and we've already started. We're going to be starting this race with 2 extra bonus points for Lattinen. Brilliant result. So hopefully we can get this car through to the end of the race now. So it's 20 laps again, just like the last race. So what can we get off the super softs? We can use the super softs 3 times, although we are expecting rain at some point during this race. So we're just going to have to keep an eye out for what sort of thing. So we'll try and go as long as we can, just until we see some rain coming, because rain is actually forecast here. So we're going to go just try and go as long as we can. Lattinen can never go as far on the tyres as Santa Ana can. But hopefully that's it. So we'll probably have them both push here so we can stay ahead early on. Hopefully we don't flat spot any tyres here, so maybe we should just turn them down. Probably end up flat spotting. One of them's going to end up flat spotting a tyre. Hopefully they don't. Let's just keep an eye on it here as we're go, go, go. Beijing. Larsen's pretty quick off the line there, but Santa Ana's managed to get some traction as we come across, but Larsen's forcing her out round the outside. And Santa Ana get it back on the inside here. She can't get it back. Falls behind Larsen there. So first and third here. And Larsen's flying up the outside of Lattinen now. Getting the inside line there, forcing Lattinen out, and Santa Ana's dropping again. So we're dropping pretty far here, so maybe we should think about turning stuff down already. It doesn't look like there's any rain forecast yet, so maybe we can keep like this. And Santa Ana flies at the back there and nearly hits the back of Lattinen. And Larsen's pulling away here in first place. Already got a gap of over 2 seconds, although Lattinen's starting to pull it back a bit here. So we get our tyres up to scratch. Maybe we can speed it up a tiny little bit here. Just got to keep an eye out for the rain. So it looks like Larsen's going to pull away here. She's got the fastest lap so far. Although we're not doing too bad ourselves at keeping this little position here. So maybe we can think about turning it down right about now. It does look like the rain's going to come a lot later in the race. So maybe we can just try. Probably push the tyres still a little bit because we need a little bit more temperature in those tyres. Just a little bit at the moment. Just see if we can hold on at this. None of the other cars have actually turned down at the moment. I think the AI tries to turn down around lap 2, but maybe we need to do it for Santa Ana here because we've got Shah here. I think that's a Boa. I can't really tell. Does the AI change their livery as well over the off season? No, I think the Boa's this one, isn't it? Or has Crust changed teams? Did Crust change? Because he was in the Boa last year, wasn't he? I'm going to have to look at all the cars to try and get it, because it looks like, I think the AI must change their liveries too over the off season. So we might just have to think about pushing Santa Ana, but she's doing quite a good job at keeping that now. So let's just see where we can get to. We're keeping an eye out for the weather, although it looks like it might end up being sunny and rain quite late on into this race, so hopefully we can keep this sort of pace going. If we can just run long like this until everyone else comes into the pits, then maybe we can just get a nice little boost, and then like we usually can. I don't think we've got any chance of catching Larsen here. He's absolutely pulling away. And someone's just shot up the inside of Santa Ana there, Gonzalez. Shot up the inside there, so maybe we could try push back at him, but then again I just want to follow this strategy through. Who's doing the best with the tyres, so because that's who we're going to have to bring in first. Looks like Santa Ana's dropping off quite a little bit here. Still keep an eye on that weather. We've got a crash there at the back, so Edda's just collided with Zarate. That's the Eastwood there. I think she's in one of the Eastwood cars. It'd be nice if it told you the other cars just around here who you're competing with, because it's quite hard to keep track with a lot of them. I think some of the drivers must have moved teams as well in the off season. She's been given a drive-through penalty now as Edda. So Gonzalez is now pushing at Lattinen, but we're just going to follow our strategy here. I'm not bothered about dropping a few places, and he's actually locked up there, so he's made a mess of his tyres. So he's possibly going to have to do a 3-stopper now from that mistake there, locking up as he tried to get past Lattinen. All the while, Larsen is pulling away even further. It doesn't look like we're going to get rain here, so we're going to be able to go as far as we can on these tyres. I was hoping it was going to start raining somewhere about lap 8, and then we could, like, everyone else would have to make a pit stop. And look at that, someone's trying to get up the inside of Santa Ana, but she holds on pretty well there. I was hoping we were going to get through to like lap 7, whereas everyone else would make a pit stop and then it would start raining, and therefore we'd get a massive jump on them with only having to make that one pit stop for the wet tyres. But as it is, we're doing pretty well here, keeping 2nd and 4th. Larsen is pulling away. We've got these two in the pits, but they crashed with each other, so possibly lost front and rear wings, something like that. But for both of those cars, everyone around us is still pushing here, so they're using up quite a bit of fuel. And Santa Ana challenging with Gonzalez there. They're all using up quite a lot of fuel, so And Santara's managed to get third place back there brilliantly, and now these are coming into the pits already. And Larson's pitted, so should we go ahead and push from this point forward? The tyres are pretty hot, because we've been just pushing them to try to keep these positions, so maybe pull those down and push from here. We could possibly, no, we'll go neutral for a lap. So we'll just see what sort of jump we can get on these cars now that we've got this nice little bit of clear air whilst they've come into the pits. Obviously we've got Costa following us. I think he's still in a Boa. Are we actually pulling ahead of him? Looks like we are actually pulling ahead of him, aren't we? So hopefully we can get a nice little bit of jump here. Where's Larson behind? She's 16.6 behind at the moment. Is that enough for a pit stop? Because she's on the soft tyres now, so we should be able to get some time on her. Hopefully. Hopefully. We're going to have to conserve these tyres to get around another lap with Latinen, whereas we can possibly go another 2 with Santana here. Doesn't look like the rain's coming anytime soon still, so what are we going to get here? So should we just speed up to the pit stop now? Just see how far we can get in front. Are we still gaining time? Well, Larson's possibly about the same here, so can we push these tyres now of Latinen's? Just because we've got her pit stop coming up and we know we're going to be changing these tyres. So what did we get out of these 6? So do we need to do a stint in the middle with the softs? And when is this rain actually going to come? The temperature's dropping around lap 10. Is it actually going to rain around that point? I'm not sure. Managed to get near enough. Well, we've got 7 laps out of this tyre. Should we finish on a pair of softs? Should we try and keep ahead on a pair of super softs and then finish on the softs? Do a long stint at the end? Hopefully we can get out of the pits ahead of Larson. Should we take advantage of the super softs at the end of the race when the grip's high? I think we'll do that, so we can possibly get round on that, can't we? So we're going to go for... we're going to try and go as long as we can again. So we can push the super softs as much as we want towards the end of the race. And we're going to go fast. So we've got the tyres that we want on. We've got the fuel to the top. So we're going to go as long as we can. Hopefully there's possibly going to be some rain still at this, but there's nothing forecast at the moment. So where are we? We've still got that same gap over Larson. We've got a lap still to go with Santana here, so Latinen's going to dive into the pits here. So where can she get back out? Looks like we're going to be behind Larson. Larson's going to go through, but I don't think we're going to be as far behind as we were. We've got 4th here. Gonzalez is right on the back of Latinen here, so should we have a push? Should we have a push just to stay in front of him as she comes out of the pits? And where can we get Santana now? So Santana, I don't think she's got the life in these tyres to push it, has she? What can she do? Larson's catching her pretty quickly here, isn't she, as she starts to push them. Maybe we're going to have to risk these tyres. We're going to have to risk just a little bit. And we can possibly get Santa. And we possibly can't push to the end of this lap, can we? So we're going to have to turn down for just maybe 2 corners and then put it back up to overtake mode. So we'll do that first. We'll do that first before thinking about setting the pit stop up. We're going to come around this corner, we're going to put it back into overtake mode, and hopefully that's enough now. No, not quite enough. We're going to do another corner. Another corner. Pit. Is that still enough? Is that not enough? No, because we didn't turn the fuel down, did we? Right. Going to do these 2 corners and then turn back up. Have we got enough now? Just. That'll be risky enough. So we know we can get 8 laps out of these pretty decently. And possibly maybe... yeah, 8 laps is what we need, because that's a fuel anyway, isn't it? So we can do 3 stints on the super softs with Santana, which is definitely what we're going to do. We're going to fill to the top because we're going to go for as long as we can again. It seems to work out pretty well for us, and just hopefully the rain doesn't mess that up. So we're going to go as fast as we can on this pit stop. So we're going to just go back and look at Latinen now. She is doing well with Gonzalez behind her. We're possibly going to get Santana back out in 5th here, I would guess. Just speed up and see where she can get out. We could have possibly had Latinen hold up Gonzalez, but then we'd have possibly lost that place. So we're back out in 4th, so we're pretty much where we were. Not too bad going there. We've got a nice little gap to these cars behind us. We'll possibly push out of the pits a tiny little bit. A lot of them are starting to get worn tyres here, so maybe a lot of these might end up having to do 3 stops around here. Just like the last one, and we know we can do this in 2 pretty easily. So, where could we be at here? So, should we think about turning this down to try and go... Just try and go as far as we can here. Turn back down. We just have to keep an eye on Latin and that Gonzalez doesn't start catching her. Gonzalez is catching there as we turn the engine down. Is Gonzalez actually pushing at the moment? He's pushing the hell out of his fuel, isn't he? Or she? I think it's a she, isn't it? M. Gonzalez, I think it's a she. So, they're pushing a lot out of that car, so they're possibly going to run out of fuel and do a 3-stopper, so it doesn't matter too much if they get past us. I'm not going to waste any fuel trying to battle with them. Oh, they're coming into the pits now, so they're definitely going to have to do another stop. Definitely going to have to do another stop. And it looks like Larson's running a 3-stop strategy as well, depending on when she's going to have to get. She's pushing now, even though she's got that comfortable lead. She should really be conserving fuel because we don't actually have any hope of catching her. I would be conserving that fuel if I was her. Are we actually catching her? I'm not actually sure. No, we're actually falling behind, and she's pushing the hell out of that car as well. So they're possibly going to be doing 3 stops now. I wouldn't be doing that if I was her. No way would I be pushing that car at the moment. They've got quite a comfortable lead, and it's a long way back till 4th place. And with this Predator car, we've got no chance of catching her car. So I'm not quite sure why they're pushing too much, and we're going to go a long way here. And look, we've got rain coming, so a lot of these cars have actually made this pit stop, whereas we're just going to go for the inters pretty soon. So we could possibly push now because we've got tons of fuel in the car, and we've got tons of life in this tyre, so we can just push what we want now, can't we? And get ready to pit for these intermediates. So let's just go ahead and do what we can here. I think the car's well enough off that we can do that. We don't have to worry about pushing too much. So what's the rain going to be? It looks like the rain's possibly going to last till the end of the race from this pit stop. So let's just see what we can get. So Santa Ana is lapping quite a lot quicker than Latin in here, so maybe she's got the super softs on. She's not happy about letting her through, but then no, we'll just let them race. Come on, let's just let them race. Just need to try and get as much gap as we can here. A lot of these cars are on pretty worn tyres. A lot of them can try to conserve as much fuel as they can. So hopefully we can lock. And Larson's had to come in there, so she's had to come into the pits. Possibly because her tyres aren't worn, so maybe if she was running out of fuel, why wouldn't she take that another lap? I wonder what tyre she's actually going to come out of the pits on. So we're catching some back markers here as well, aren't we? And the tyres are getting pretty hot. Don't think we're going to lose too much performance, but we'll just run them in neutral anyway. Just because we can do, and I wonder what tyre she's going to come out of the pits on here. She's come out on a pair of super softs, so she's definitely going to have to pit again. So a massive mistake there from, that is the team Ruiz, isn't it? That's Ruiz. The Russian team made a massive mistake there, so hopefully that can play into our hands here. We just got Latin and Santa Ana battling it away here. So we're going to possibly, should we bring one of them in at the end of this lap? Who should we bring in first? Should we bring Latin in? Just because Santa Ana's got that little bit more speed on her and a bit more fuel. Possibly that's what we're going to do. We're going to pit Latin in at the end of this one for a pair of inters. And get her in early. How long is it going to rain for? It does look like it's going to rain till the end of the race, so we're going to... Oh, it's possibly just a lap too early though, isn't it? Oh, we're going to have enough fuel to get to the end of the race with that. We will be coming up to lap 12, so we're not going to be able to push with Latin, so we might just have enough to get to the end of the race like that. If we did that, would it give us a different readout? No, it doesn't give us a different readout. We're going to have to risk it anyway, otherwise we'd have both cars double stacked coming into the pits. We're going to do that, so hopefully we don't get held up by these back markers too much here. A lot of them are still pitting for dry tyres, and I'm not sure why. So So we do have quite a lead here. We're stuck behind this stupid back marker who won't let us past on these corners, which has allowed Larson to catch back up there. So Lattinen's going to dive into the pits here. She's going to put her pair of intermediates on. It's just not going to be wet enough for him, but it was just so we didn't have to double stack him. Although maybe we should have gone another lap there with Lattinen. Possibly the wrong decision there. It didn't quite rain as quick as I expected it to, although we've got rain now. So we should get a jump on some of these other cars as the track starts to get wet. We've got Santa Ana running first here. So can we get... You don't need to pit. It's getting wet. It's getting wet and you don't have to pit now, so shut up. I know I possibly made a mistake, but there's enough distance for you there. And we've possibly handed the race to Santa Ana. That's about as bad as it's going to get. So, right. So, is it wet enough here? Is it wet enough? Can we go another lap on the super softs? Or is it going to get too wet? Is anyone else thinking about pitting? No, are they? Could we get another lap out of this time? Maybe we could have left Lattinen out. Or should we just get on the inters as quick as we can? How far can the inters actually go? 10 laps if we look after them. Possibly not wet enough yet, and it's going to stop raining after a little bit, isn't it? So should we risk it with Santa Ana and go for another lap? And that should feed back into Lattinen's hands that way. Should we risk and go another lap on these tyres? Let's try it, let's try it, let's try it. It's possibly going to get too wet. But who cares? Who cares? Let's see. Let's just see if that works out for us here. We've got Lattinen back into second place here. But Larson's right on the back of her there after that pit stop, even though she's done one extra pit stop. Oh dear, dear. Hopefully we haven't made the wrong choice here. But we've got quite the lead. It's Santa Ana. Is she going to be losing this lead? Looks like Lattinen's doing quite the good job of holding her up here. So she's picking up time still, is Santa Ana, as she comes around. So it's possibly going to be the right time for the inters now. So, should we fill up to the end of the race? Is it going to be wet enough till the end? It does look like it's going to keep raining. But the track's going to dry off slightly, but still be in range for the inters. So that's what we're going to do. We've got the inters on now. We've got the fuel up to the top. We've got a full, fresh pair of inters. Yeah, we have. Getting fuel up to the top. We've got parts. Sort of getting on borderline, but this should be good enough for Santa Ana. So, she's going to dive into the pits here. Let's see where she can get back out. We're not going to push anything from the fuel. We're going to try to conserve something in case we need to battle. It's Lattinen coming round here in second place, doing a good job so far of holding off Larson behind her. But they pitted quite early as well, and the computer does like to waste fuel, so that should play into our hands with Lattinen. If we can just hold off with her till the end of the race. We know Larson's going to be pushing the hell out of this car. We don't have any extra fuel to push, and she's actually locked up there as well. So that's quite decently worked into our favour. And Santa Ana is quite on the way in front here, although she's going pretty slow. Is that because she's held up behind another back marker here? We're held up behind whoever's in 20th. Zarate again, just holding us up totally. Just making a mess of it here for Santa Ana. Look at that, she's slowing down, and that's slowed Lattinen down as well. He's possibly going to lose third place as well here. Stupid back markers. Are we still behind the back marker? Did we actually get past the back marker there? No, we still haven't even got past the back marker. What the... This back marker is actually letting Larson catch up to us here. Yeah, you've got a lot of condition warnings. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, Santa. So what have we got left now? We've got 6 laps left. Have we got enough in Lattinen? It looks like we're going to have to pit for a lap of fuel at some point for Lattinen. Looks like Santa Ana's starting just about able to keep this distance. We do have some excess fuel if we need to push, if Larson can get right on the back of us. But Lattinen is defending third place, and we don't have the fuel to push it here. We don't have any room to push. She's down in 4th place. There is a long gap towards 5th place, so we're not in any danger of losing anything. possibly need... The tyres are getting pretty cold, maybe that's why. But we need to get them through to the end of the race if we can. Hopefully we can. Hopefully we've got enough fuel here. We don't think we have actually got enough fuel. So we are possibly going to have to make another pit stop with Lattinen. A lot of these are diving into the pits again, so is this going to be the case for Larson and Gonzalez as well? Are they going to be really low on fuel? So could we possibly bring Lattinen in sooner rather than later so we can push her? Because we are going to have to pit for fuel as it is, aren't we? So we'll go this extra lap and just see what the situation is. Coming across with 4 laps, have we got enough to actually get? Should we run in low mode for a while? Because we've got a big gap. Would that be enough for us to get round? Hopefully. We're going to have to try push Santa Ana now, because a lot of these cars, and we've actually lost first place there. And second. Oh no. Losing it towards the end here. Both of these cars just shot past us. Don't think we're going to get it back. No. Although 3rd and 4th isn't bad, but we're challenging here. We're still keeping up. Maybe we've got a bit more life in these tyres. Maybe we should push to get them back up to temperature a little bit. We don't have the temperature in... We don't have the condition left in Lattinen's tyres to push. But Santa Ana battling back there for 2nd place. Can she hold on to it around this corner? Yes, she can. And she's right on the back of Larson again, whose tyres are pretty worn. So it does look like that's going to be something we can do. We can get back for the end of the race. Maybe we should go ahead and just try and conserve a little bit of this tyre now. Battling away here. Please don't hit us, Gonzalez. Don't you even dare do that. We'll just try to stretch this fuel on Lattinen as well. She's just playing keep up with these right at the back here. It does look like Larson's got some problems with her car as well. So hopefully we've got... It looks like a back marker's slowing her up as well. So Lattinen's going to be able to get right on the back of this pack as well. So we've got 2 laps left. It does look like running in low mode, and Santa Ana making a move, flies down into 1st place. Getting the most she can out of this Predator car. And she's locked up. But we've got the life in the tyres. She's locked up and she's held in. No, she's not. No! Come on, Santa. Probably soon going to have to turn down pretty soon, because we're getting quite close on tyres. Lattinen's got some problems with her car, but she's going to have to try and stretch it. And Santa Ana shoots up the inside there. 1st place. Maybe we can try turn down. I think it's the back markers holding everyone up here. So can we try push to get past this back marker? Should we try do that? We've got 1 lap. Yeah, maybe we can just keep the engine like this and keep 1st place. Hopefully we can. The back marker doing a massive disservice here. We can't get past 20th place around these corners. Gonzalez flying around now. It looks like Larson's slowing down. Zarati's got problems with his car. What's he got in his tyres? What's he got in his tyres? Larson's got 26% in the tyres. Looks like we're all about the same for tyres here. Although Lattinen's are a lot worse than everyone else. So, can Santa Ana get past here down the straight? Nope, nope. Still not letting him through. Still not letting Santa Ana through. Can we get round the outside of this back marker? No. We've got 1 lap left here. Have we got enough fuel to get round pushing? Oh, not quite enough. So we're going to have to go medium for a tiny little bit here. We've got Lattinen still running in 4th place. This is an amazing race here. Try to fly round. But we've got stupid back markers in the way. Holding us up. I'm not sure whether we've got enough fuel to get Lattinen round, do we? Yes, we do have enough fuel to get Lattinen round to the end there. Probably not enough. Probably not got enough in the car to push here. I mean, not enough in the car, in Lattinen's car at least, to get 3rd or 2nd. But then again, it just depends on whether these... And we've got enough now to put the engine into full overtake mode. The tyres are about to go, but they're at the same condition as Gonzalez's, so that's not going to matter. Just hopefully we don't get held up by this back marker. And look at that, it looks like Gonzalez nearly hit whoever's in 20th, Zarate there. So that should allow Lattinen to jump up into 3rd. Gonzalez got totally slowed down, so can she make the move here? Have we got enough fuel in this just to push? Can we go medium? Can we go medium? Wish we can go medium. Can we go for high? Can we go for high? Yes, we can go high. So we've got Lattinen coming round, getting slowed down by a back marker. No, get round him, get round him. Get round him. Hopefully they'll do the same, teammates on each other. Is she going to get slowed down by a teammate? Yeah, come on Lattinen, you can do it. Second place round the last bend. Absolutely brilliant racing from both drivers there, holding on. First and second. Absolutely brilliant. We just managed to get Lattinen across the line there before she ran out of fuel, making that last ditch move on Larson, and she got slowed down somewhat by her own teammate there. Who was her own teammate there that slowed her down? It's not Monroe, I know that. Who was it? Who was it? Which one was it? Is it Parks? No, it's not. Is it DeWolf? Is that her teammate? Yes, it is. So both teammates conspiring against each other there to slow each other down, but absolutely brilliant there. First and second. Absolutely brilliant. Possibly the best race we've done overall, because we managed to qualify first and second. We did the race first and second, even though it was a struggle to get there in the end after we dropped down, and we did drop down a few places, but we managed to fight back for those places. Both cars, where did we finish up at? Look at that. Even though she's got the worst car possibly reliability on the grid, because a lot of these parts are just rated 40%, baseline 40%. She has managed to get them round without any of them getting into the red zone. Lattinen possibly does still need some work. There is quite a few parts. We possibly need to get around to around 80-85% before we're fully comfortable with all those parts. But we'll just speed up now and let this race finish. But hopefully, I'm not sure who actually set the fastest lap during that race. Hopefully we managed to do it. I know Larson set it on the first lap, so possibly that is the fastest lap of the entire race. That first lap, that was done by Larson. So she might have 2 extra points there. I'm not quite sure where Ruiz, the team Ruiz, is in the constructors, but we should be top pretty comfortably now because we've got pole position. So we should have picked up 16 points from this race. Absolutely brilliant result all round. So that's possibly what worked in our favour, just our pit stop strategy, that we went a bit longer and we waited for that rain to come. A lot of them had to do 2 stops even before the rain started. So we did an absolutely amazing job there. First and second, scrutineering, no risk of rule break here. Don't have any dodgy parts, so look at that. And yeah, Larson did get the fastest lap bonus. And Chariot didn't actually pick up any points there, which works in our favour because they were first. So we should now get that first and second. Absolutely brilliant from both drivers. Santa Ana now leading the Drivers' Championship, Lattinen third in the Drivers' Championship, and we now have a 13-point gap at the top of the table. Absolutely brilliant. 25 points. So that is sort of the form of the Chariot are going to be pretty good, but if we can just sort of keep going along now and ticking along and getting a few points here and there, we're possibly going to be right up there at the end of the season. Not something I thought we'd be saying. I did think it would take us a little bit longer in the Asia Pacific Super Cup to get up to speed, but we do have some massive leaps forward coming with our technology, with the whole package of the car. We're going to be making some quite giant leaps forward soon with the suspension, with the rear wing. We do have a gearbox being built at the moment, which is going to put Lattinen in a car almost comparable to the one that Santa Ana is in, and Lattinen is doing pretty well at keeping up with Santa Ana, even though she doesn't have the car that Santa Ana does. So I'm not quite sure overall in this game what sort of benefit each car has over the other when parts are better in one area or the other. Obviously that race really suited our car, so hopefully a few of the other races will really suit our car, but we did absolutely brilliant there. Why did we get so much money from the sponsors? No, that is right. Is that what? Yeah, that is what we're actually pulling in, isn't it? Yeah, so over £2 million there. Absolutely brilliant. It's because we got the full 650,000, which we don't usually get because we don't usually finish 6th or higher in qualifying. Obviously this time we finished first and second, so we do now have tons of money going forward. Just let this game save here, so let's see where we're going to be at after this. Do have some mail. Monroe tops at timesheets. Lattinen pits Santa Ana to pole. Car condition update. Santa Ana's dropped pretty... It keeps saying that she's dropped 40%, but she doesn't drop 40%. She only drops about 20 overall. Although, yeah, she does. I don't know why it keeps saying that. got morale boost for Santa Ana. Hard fought win for Santa Ana in Beijing. So we're waiting for this to be finished now. So we're just going to go ahead and skip to get the car repair complete here. So let's see what we can get done. So we still need these parts to be worked on for Latinen. It's the front wing that went that time. Obviously the suspension here, but the suspension we're purposely not working on, aren't we? Because we're working on this part to actually go in Latinen's car. It's the one that we're working on to go in there. And maybe we should stop working on this one, but then we've got another new rear wing coming. So maybe we should just keep up with this one, because we're possibly not going to get this one up to speed in time before another new rear wing comes along, because we're going to be building that pretty soon as this new gearbox is finished. And we're actually working on this new gearbox here reliability wise, so we can go ahead and put that in Latinen's car once the new one's built, because the new one is going to go in Santa Ana's car. So it's only a couple of days now. We've got Doha coming up. I don't think we're going to get... Should we? What should we do? No, we're gonna wait here. Should we get rid of everything else being built here? Is everything else at a point where it should be? And we're gonna go for that, because it's gonna get the gearbox pretty near where it should be. We can possibly work on the new gearbox as well then. And then we're pretty much sorted for the next race, hopefully. Because the next race is Doha. What is decent in Doha? We do need the engine, which we've got, and yes, gearbox is crucial. So yeah, we do need that part in Latinen's car. And this new gearbox is good enough to go in Santa Ana's car, although we might work on it a little bit here. Possibly going to work on it reliability wise. Look, it's rated at 571 already. So that would be 8 days after the race, but it should be good enough to get it up to where we need it to be. So what is that we could stick in there as well? Possibly that suspension part, could we? Could we see if we can get that pretty near as well? Which one is it? It's actually going to be this one, isn't it? So can we put both of those in? It's going to take quite a while to get those in the car. So maybe we should just focus on that and then focus on getting the suspension up to scratch after that. I think that's what we should do. So we're going to keep at that. Right, so we're all the way here now at Doha. So we've got the gearbox where we want it. We've got this gearbox, possibly a lot more than where we needed it to be. But we can go ahead and try and get these new parts in the car now. So we've got this new gearbox for Santa Ana, which moves her up to a 571. Latinen's got a big leap in the gearbox here, which makes her pretty happy with the car overall. Where are we at with this suspension? Which is the best one? This one is the best one that we've got, the second best one that we've got, but obviously we can't put in the car at the moment. So everything is pretty decent there. The brakes is what's going to be the furthest behind after this season, which is possibly what we're going to have to work on for next season. And we're voting on a change for replacing Phoenix Track A with Phoenix Track P. So which is the Phoenix Track A? Replacing Phoenix Track A with Track B. So we're going to do the Phoenix Track twice. This one twice next season if it gets voted through. Seems a bit of a silly rule break, but I did hate this track last time because we did have all sorts of bunching during qualifying and during the race and problems with back markers and all sorts. So maybe it would be good if we managed to get rid of that. But what we're going to work on reliability wise in the meantime, we do have to work on some of Latinen's parts. Maybe did we put everything in the car that we wanted? So what needs getting up to scratch? This suspension? No, because we need to work on that other suspension part, don't we? Go back to this one. It's this suspension part. Which one is it? It's this one that we're hoping to get in the car next time. Other than that, is there anything that we need to do? Everything's sort of alright there. Maybe the brakes. And then we can possibly concentrate on some of the lowest parts that are in Santa Ana's car, because these will eventually be going in Latinen's car as well, so we need some work doing to them. But from now on, from this point, we're going to build a new rear wing. This one's going to add 5 days on. It's going to be ready in time for Phoenix. It's not really needed, but it's going to be ready in time for Phoenix. Possibly good enough to go in Santa Ana's car, although it's going to be at about the same level, isn't it? 408 to 459. What have we got in Santa Ana's car at the moment? We've got a 410, so it can be improved a hell of a lot more, but it's not going to be as good at the time that it's built. No, what I'm looking at. Was that the rear wing that I looked at then? Did I look at the rear wing? Yes, I did. So we're going to build a new rear wing here. This one had 35 torque, but it is improved at the first time of asking. So we should go for that one, shouldn't we? Yeah, that definitely looks like the one we should go for, maybe. Or should we go for one that we don't need to put any performance into because we're going to be building more anyway? Yeah, so maybe this is the best one, so we get that initial tiny little bit of boost over that instead of starting at 408. I know the max is going to be down by only 5 points, but that 5 points is worth it just to have a part that's going to be better to go in Santa Ana's car by the time of the next race. So we're going to go ahead and build that one. I don't think that shows up there. I think it shows up sort of there, but we won't get the actual read on it until we actually put it in the car. So, an absolutely brilliant result there. So that's where we're going to leave it for this episode. We did absolutely brilliant in Beijing. Probably the best race we've ever had. We qualified first and second. We finished first and second, although Santa Ana and Latinum reversed places over the race. Although some of that possibly could be to do with that time when we brought Latinum in for the intermediates a tiny little bit earlier, but we didn't want to double stack them. Although we didn't end up doing that anyway because we left Santa Ana out a little bit longer anyway. But anyway, absolutely brilliant overall. So if you're not already subscribed and you want to see if we can keep up this sort of form and get promoted by the end of the season, hit that subscribe button down below. Give me a thumbs up if you think we're doing absolutely brilliant this season, and possibly leave a comment. But until next time in Doha, I will see you down the road, and goodbye.